Hi everyone. So as we're going through and grading your goals and your SOAP notes, one, you all are doing a really great job. The areas that we see for growth, come with practice, but also really kind of following this general outline for how to write goals. So remember, the goal needs to be significant, simple, and specific. It has to be client-centered and occupation-based. So when you think, what does that mean? When you're looking at the client, case study, or problem-based learning, what is it that you want the client to be able to do? How can you articulate that? I want the client to be able to wash her hands without pain. Client-centered, occupation-based, washing her hands without pain. That's what you want her to be able to do. Now, how are you going to measure this goal? Is describe how this goal will be met. So you want the client to be able to wash her hands without pain. Is it 50% of the time that she washes her hands? Is it with rest breaks? Is there a certain condition? Is there an assistance level? So how will you mark her progress as she goes forward? So by self-report, client will wash her hands without pain by her report 50% of the time. So it's specific to her, it's client-centered, you're describing what you want her to be able to do, and now you've measured it. So 50% of the time within 1 week, and then how do you then modify that goal to show her improvement? But you also want this goal to be achievable and realistic. You want her to be able to achieve this goal. So if I just write a range of motion goal or a manual muscle testing goal, one, it's not really occupation-based or client-centered. But also it's hard to say, it's hard to achieve a certain degree of range of motion. And if I am writing a range of motion degree, I have to be specific what that range of motion degree is that I want her to accomplish or increase that range. So if I'm writing a casting or splinting goal, it might be appropriate to use goniometrics, but I need to be specific with how much of that range I want her to increase. So I want her to increase her wrist extension while wearing the splint by 5 degrees within 2 days because she's wearing the splint or the cast for that amount of time. So it needs to be realistic, but it has to be very clear and specific what you want that client to achieve. It also needs to be relevant to the client. So if I'm writing a range of motion goal, how is that relevant to the client? If I'm writing a manual muscle testing goal, how is that relevant to the client? So when you write that goal, it's meaningful to the client, therefore they will engage with it and hopefully be able to achieve it in a realistic amount of time. It's measurable, and since it is relevant to the client, it's client-centered and occupation-based. Remember, the goals need to be related. The short-term goal needs to be directly related to the long-term goal, which you all do really well with. And it does need to be time limited. So this is the important part when thinking about what location your client is in. So if they're go back to that chart in Pedretti for that we went over day 1 on the different practice settings and about the lengths of time that those clients will be there. So if you're working with a client in outpatient, recognizing that every day when they come in, you're working on a goal. So it could be that goal is met within that time period that they're with you in that one day. It could be within that one therapy session. And then realistically, how long are you going to be seeing that client in outpatient? Realistically, how long are you going to be seeing that client in a skilled nursing facility? So that will help you understand how to create that time limit for how long you're seeing the client. So I hope that's helpful. Goal writing is not easy. It takes a lot of practice, which is why we have you do it a lot, because it's and it is very specific to the client population and location that you're working in. But the formula is going to be the same across all practice settings and with the clients that you work with. And your SOAP notes are looking really, really good. I'm not going to go too much into that because I think I've already done a lecture on that and you don't need to hear my voice again. But again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out and we're happy to sit down and talk with you all.